78. Almora, 9th July 1897. Dear sister, I am very sorry to read between the lines the desponding tone of your letter, and I understand the cause. Thank you for your warning. I understand your motive perfectly. I had arranged to go with Ajit Singh to England, but the doctors not allowing, it fell thorough. I shall be so happy to learn that Harriet has met him. He will be only too glad to meet any of you. I had also a lot of cuttings from different American papers fearfully criticizing my utterances about American women and furnishing me with the strange news that I had been outcasted. As if I had any caste to lose, being a sannyasin. Not only no caste has been lost, but it has considerably shattered the opposition to sea voyage, my going to the West. If I should have to be outcasted, it would be with half the ruling princes of India and almost all of educated India. On the other hand, a leading Raja of the caste to which I belonged before my entering the order got up a banquet in mid-honor, at which were most of the big bugs of that caste. The sannyasins, on the other hand, may not dine with anyone in India, as it would be beneath the dignity of gods to dine with mere mortals. They are regarded as Narayanas, while the others are mere men. And dear Mary, these feet have been washed and wiped and worshipped by the descendants of kings, and there has been a progress through the country which none ever commanded in India. It will suffice to say that the police were necessary to keep order if I ventured out into the street. That is outcasting indeed. Of course, that took the starch out of the missionaries, and who are they here? Nobodies. We are in blissful ignorance of their existence all the time. I had in a lecture said something about the missionaries and the origin of that species except the English church gentlemen, and in that connection had to refer to the very churchy women of America and their power of inventing scandals. This the missionaries are parading as an attack on American women en masse to undo my work there, as they well know that anything said against themselves will rather please the US people. My dear Mary, supposing I had said all sorts of fearful things against the Yanks, would that be paying off a millionth part of what they say of our mothers and sisters? Neptune's waters would be perfectly useless to wash off the hatred the Christian Yanks of both sexes bear to us heathens of India. And what harm have we done them? Let the Yanks learn to be patient under criticism and then criticize others. It is a well-known psychological fact that those who are ever ready to abuse others cannot bear the slightest touch of criticism from others. Then again, what do I owe them? Except your family, Mrs. Bull, the Legates, and a few other kind persons, who else has been kind to me? Who came forward to help me work out my ideas? I had to work till I am the death's door and had to spend nearly the whole of that energy in America, so that the Americans may learn to be broader and more spiritual. In England, I worked only 6 months. There was not a breath of scandal save one, and that was the working of an American woman, which greatly relieved my English friends. Not only no attacks, but many of the best English church clergymen became my firm friends, and without asking, I got much help for my work, and I'm sure to get much more. There is a society watching my work and getting help for it, and 4 respectable persons followed me to India to help my work, and dozens were ready, and the next time I go, hundreds will be. Dear, dear Mary, do not be afraid for me. The world is big, very big, and there must be some place for me even if the Yankees rage. Anyhow, I am quite satisfied with my work. I never planned anything. I have taken things as they came. Only one idea was burning in my brain, to start the machine for elevating the Indian masses, and that I have succeeded in doing to a certain extent. It would have made your heart glad to see how my boys are working in the midst of famine and disease and misery, nursing by the mat bed of the cholera-stricken Parya and feeding the starving Chandala. And the Lord sends help to me and to them all. What are men? He is with me, the beloved. He was when I was in America, in England, when I was roaming about unknown from place to place in India. What do I care about what they talk? The babies. They do not know any better. What? I who have realized the spirit and the vanity of all earthly nonsense, to be swerved from my path by babies' prattle. Do I look like that? I had to talk a lot about myself because I owned that to you. I feel my task is done. At most 3 or 4 years more of life are left. I have lost all wish for my salvation. I never wanted earthly enjoyments. I must see my machine in strong working order, and then knowing sure that I have put in a lever for the good of humanity, in India at least, which no power can drive back, I will sleep, without caring what will be next. And may I be born again and again, and suffer thousands of miseries so that I may worship the only God that exists, the only God I believe in, the sum total of all souls, and above all, my God the wicked, my God the miserable, my God the poor of all races, of all species, is the special object of my worship. He who is in you and is outside of you, who works through every hand, who walks through every foot, whose body you are, him worship and break all other idols. He who is the high and the low, the saint and the sinner, the god and the worm, him worship, the visible, the knowable, the real, the omnipresent, break all other idols. In whom there is neither past life nor future birth, nor death nor going or coming, in whom we always have been and always will be one. Him worship, break all other idols. I, fools, neglecting the living gods and his infinite reflection with which the world is full, and running after imaginary shadows. Him worship, the only visible, and break all other idols. My time is short. I have got to unbreast whatever I have to say, without caring if it smarts some or irritates others. Therefore, my dear Mary, do not be frightened at whatever drops from my lips, for the power behind me is not Vivekananda, but He the Lord, and He knows best. If I have to please the world, that will be injuring the world. The voice of the majority is wrong, seeing that they govern and make the sad state of the world. Every new thought must create opposition. In the civilized, a polite sneer. In the vulgar, savage howls and filthy scandals. Even these earthworms must stand erect. Even children must see light. The Americans are drunk with new wine. 100 waves of prosperity have come and gone over my country. We have learned the lesson which no child can yet understand. It is vanity. This hideous world is Maya. Renounce and be happy. Give up the idea of sex and possessions. There is no other bond. Marriage and sex and money, the only living devils. All earthly love proceeds from the body. No sex, no possessions. As these fall off, the eyes open to spiritual vision. The soul regains its own infinite power. How I wish I were in England to see Harriet. I have one wish left, to see you 4 sisters before I die, and that must happen. Yours ever affectionately, Vivekananda.